5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should succumb, what for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions here.
Good morning, everybody. What an amazing day it is to be alive. We've got a bunch of great things for you. I'm Jeremiah Bannister, the one and only Paleocrat, the OG. And, you know, I'm kind of in a weird place today for a number of reasons, in fact. And I'm sorry that we're a little bit late. You know, we here at Paleocrat Diaries, we try really hard to be super professional, to keep that standard, including having the mic on first thing. That's one of those things, you know, but we have a couple things that are a little bit different today. And one of those is that Ailey is not here. And it's breaking my heart. It is. I'm always sad when she's gone, but she's at the Children's Hospital. Do not be afraid, right? Do not let your heart be troubled over this. My son, Athanasius, he had an appointment with the endocrinologist about his growth. Because see, we're like a home of hobbits, right? Anyone who's seen my old studio up in the towers here at Castle Paleocrat, anybody who's seen that knows that you kind of got to be a little bit, you know, Napoleon-esque in order to get in there. I had people come in and they're all ducking their heads like this, and I'm just standing up thinking I'm perfectly fine. It's one of those things, you know. But his growth pattern was kind of peaked off, you know, and it was going down. And they have a way to judge this and determine, you know, is this going according to schedule? How is this working? And I was a late bloomer. I think I've mentioned before that back when we were doing driver's training, that I was in the car where you had to bring a pillow and a telephone book to sit on. Okay, so I was super short. I think I was like I was shorter than 5 foot when I went into 9th grade. Or I was maybe around exactly 5 foot. And then when I think I had my growth spurt, I went from 5'3" to 5'7" between my junior and senior year, if I'm remembering correctly. And so, I mean, and still, you know, again, Napoleon here, right? Not going to lie about that. I'm not going to be one of those guys pretending that I'm, you know, as tall as Joe Scarborough or something. You know, like, oh yeah, I'm 6'4" right now. No. But they wanted to make sure that everything was fine. And so they had to do a test, because they do a test when you go in, and they try to find out, do some blood work and stuff, and they try to find out if your growth hormone is activated properly. But it's a pulse. And so if you go in, you don't know if you're on when the pulse is on or the pulse is off. So it's kind of a random thing. So they want to be able to check him out, you know, for like, let's say 3 hours, and have them all stickered up and stuff. And so that's where it is right now. I was going to share a picture. It breaks my heart. Maybe I will by the end if Facebook is cooperative. But it was kind of going slow. And I don't really know what that was all about. It was kind of a bummer, because he's a handsome guy. He's a handsome stud. And it's funny because you have to wear a mask in there. And he kind of joked, and he said, you know, I don't even have to smile with this. You know, should I even smile? And so Ailey took a picture. And she took a picture, one with him smiling and one with him not. And you can tell because the eyes smile. And so we're going to have a lot of smiles today, and a lot of coffee. But there's also some things we got to talk about. Okay, and I have to say this, and it was a bummer. It's a bummer because this news came in before the show. But I don't want to start out with the bummer. I don't want to start out with it. Instead, what I want to do is I want to start out with something that's a little bit happier. And by a little bit happier, I mean like a lot happier. Okay? That diva on the left, that is Deja. And Deja she's been a diva with Paleocrat Diaries and Paleo Radio. She started back when we were doing Paleo Radio. That was AM FM. I was co-hosting that with Joe Elder. I created the show. I did it for a long time by myself. Okay, well, it's a story for another time. But did it for a long time by myself. Got together with Joe Elder. He's a hilarious comedian local here in Grand Rapids. And we did an AM/FM show together. And it was a whole bunch of fun. And we had some people tuning in. And one of those people who tuned in on the regular was Deja. And right there used to be her fiance, John. They got married. And so Deja's come in here before. So I wanted to make sure that we just said congratulations. And you should have tagged me in this. I don't know what you were thinking. I don't know what you were thinking, Deja. But man, what a great couple. They're really cool people. And I just wanted to say that. But it's not just that. And that's the good news, right? I wish I had like the celebratory music to go with that. Okay, we're going to have some celebratory music here coming up soon. But the thing is didn't get to do that. But we have to talk about something before we move on to the really important news about the animal uprising. I have to get serious, and I don't normally like doing this, but I got a text message today, and I'm going to try really hard not to choke up, because you got to be... I did a lot of Wim Hof, okay, this morning. I'm not even kidding. I did like 6 rounds of that, and so my whole body was tingling like crazy, man. I'm seeing little green men, and I'm thinking, man, I got to focus. Took a cold shower. And just focused, because the thing is that my sister, and internet is slow. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about the lag, you guys. My sister has cancer. Okay, and we've known this for a while. This has actually been, it's been a couple years now. She was pregnant at the time, and she was breastfeeding. Or no, she wasn't. It wasn't breastfeeding. She was pregnant, right now, and so she's developing, getting larger. The milk is coming in. And she started to notice this lump. And it started small, of course. And all of her friends, she talked to people, kind of wondering what this was and everything. And they said, it's a milk duct. It was not just a milk duct. Okay. It was cancer. And she found out because it eventually got to the place where the cancer was as large as an avocado. So she went in and, they did all the tests and stuff, and it had spread. In fact, it had spread to numerous places in her body. And they gave her a year to live. And that was if she got both of her breasts removed. That is if she went full-blown with chemo and radiation and did all of the protocols that they prescribed. They gave her a year. She's knocked that out of the park. But the thing is it hasn't been easy. And she didn't do any of those things, by the way. She said, I don't think so. She's really angered a lot of people. She's really angered and confused and astounded a lot of people because she she's gone a non-traditional route. Well, technically speaking, it would be a very traditional route, with food, with nutraceuticals, with alternative treatments down in Mexico. So she's done a lot, okay, and it's very difficult. I mean, it's so difficult that, this is your life. You have to do this, and that's in the hope that not only that the cancer will go away for a time, but that, that's just your life from then on. There is no like, oh, here's my cheat day and stuff. You don't have that anymore. And so she's a real trooper. Well, today I get a text message from my mom, and my mom might need to think a little bit more about like, hey, should I send this to Jeremiah right before he goes on the air? Because that's what happened. And the thing is that the cancer has spread in her brain. And they're saying that this one is going to be more progressive. My daughter had brain cancer, and I know what this is like. It's a really scary thing. It's another level. Let's just put it that way. It's another level, and it takes a certain kind of person to make it through with a smile on their face. My daughter was one of those people, and so is my sister. And I'm really proud of her. I was like the brother that was a real clown, man. I was a real jerk. All growing up, doing the normal brother thing in a way, but I was a special case. I was a special kind of nasty sometimes. And my sister was the one who was good. She was the one who did good in school, part of that is she didn't have to try. You know, she was like one of those kids that just knew. She was just really smart. But more than that, she was the kid. She was the one who had an actual prayer closet. She made a prayer room in her closet. And she put names of friends that were going through hard times, or friends that really needed God and really needed help. And she would sit in there and she would read her Bible and she would pray. That was her. She wasn't a smoker. She wasn't doing crazy drugs. She wasn't boozing it up like I was, like crazy. And so it breaks my heart. It's really hard. But the thing is I look at her and I see and I say, you know what? She is an example of somebody who says, look, you know, like she has, I wish I could have it up here. On her Facebook, it talks about how she loves life and the world. She loves the world in the sense of like being here, right? Not in the worldly, fleshly sense, but the idea of being here, that she loves this. She's grateful to God for all of these things. And then her profile picture is, I'll see you on the flip side. When my daughter died, my sister was there. In fact, my sister and her husband and my mom were watching my daughter, and they were giving her her meds because you had to give them once every couple hours. And it was super tough because if you didn't, then even in a coma, you would hear moans and groans, and it was the worst sound, rivaled only by the sound of the breathing as the body is shutting down. Anyone who's gone through that knows that it's like nightmarish. But they were there, faithfully giving them like warriors. And then at like 6:50 in the morning, they took a picture. And they'd been listening to her heart because my daughter's heart had been going out for a while, like where she would stop and the heart would stop and it would go for quite a while and they would have to listen to make sure, and then it would come back. But one and last time it didn't. And it's crazy because I actually have that moment. I have that moment in a picture of them around her and holding her. And it wasn't very long later that a post went online talking about how she was diagnosed with cancer. And it was crazy because at the time I was an unbeliever. I was just furious at God. I'd lost my daughter. I was outraged. And I remember going online and I saw this. I saw her status update and her profile picture, and it was talking about trusting God no matter what. And I thought, you know what? She's crazy. You're insane. How can you say that? You have cancer. How can you say that with what you've seen? And looking back now, it reminded me of this part. And I've mentioned this before, that I think people should read this book. It's called Preparation for Death. It's by St. Alphonsus Liguori. He says, Cardinal Baronius had inscribed on his ring the words Memento Mori, remember death. We finish this show every single time with those words. And we mean it here. The Venerable Juvenal, Bishop of Saluzzo, had this motto written on a skull, quote, what you are, I was, and what I am, you shall be. A holy hermit being asked when dying how he could be so cheerful said, quote, I've always kept death before my eyes, and therefore now that it has arrived, I see nothing new in it. My sister is an embodiment of this, and I'll just end with this. She's an embodiment of this. She's kept it before her eyes the entire time. In fact, maybe her whole life. Going so far as to even make with her own hands the casket that she'll be buried in. That's a true story. She's a hero, and so I ask that you pray for her. Not out of hopelessness. Not out of hopelessness. For one, not out of hopelessness even that treatments will work. She's done an amazing job. She's a trooper. She's fighting with all that she's got. with the understanding that if and when that day comes, whether it's soon or whether it's, she's a pumpkin pie baking grandma, whatever it is, that she'll see us on the flip side. I had to share that. And I'm sorry that I had to get a little bit emotional. I had to get serious in the beginning, but I got this in the text message. What do you do about that? What do you do about that? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Tuesday morning. I want to thank everybody in the comments section. Yes, man. Lots of prayers already. The book peddler, thank you. David Johnson, thank you. Cherie, thank you. Yes. Oh, and Ailey's in the comments. Great. Okay, look. Says it was both pregnant and breastfeeding. So yeah, so she was breastfeeding. Yeah, yes, very little kids. Very, very little kids. And she's gone, she's had a lot in her life. Even losing one of her, she was pregnant with twins. You might see yesterday, I think, I was wearing a pink shirt underneath a shirt similar to this. There's a button down all the way. But it was similar color anyway. But it was a pink shirt underneath it. That shirt, some of you may have seen it. It's in my Jaws. I think it's in my Jaws reaction video. It says, I heart pepper. It's a symbol of a pepper. That's the name of the daughter that passed away. They were monoamniotic. So it's a very rare thing, monoamniotic twins. And one of them passed. The one that remains, she's a real champ. I love that little girl. So anyway, want to thank everybody for joining us again. We've got a really great show for you. We're going to have a bunch of fun. We're going to move in actually to some good times. Okay, we're going to move into some amazing, happy, fun times here. And I've got something, before we do this, let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and let's transition out of there. There we go. I want to say, first of all, make sure when you comment, even if you're alone in that comment section, we're on 15 or 16 different channels all at the same time. So some people may be over here. A lot of people have been kind of congregating at Paleocrat on Twitter. I'm so sorry. Some people, yes, that's true. I don't want to tell you not to do that. Okay, it's on Periscope. Okay, you can see us on Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, DLive, you name it. But a lot of times what I've been seeing is there are a number of people who've been going to Jeremiah.Bannister on Facebook, Paleocrat on Facebook. And if you haven't liked that, make sure to like it. We don't do too much there. We do most of our stuff at the .com. And also, of course, the main one has been youtube.com/Paleocrat. Super easy to do. But I thought about this, okay? I thought about this, and I said, it's interesting the timing. Because I told you we've been working on here at the house up in the creativity studio. We've been working on, we have the Enlightenment Cave. That's something for Paleo Cheese, and here we got the creativity studio. That goes back a ways. We've brought it back to life, lit it up with lights. And the thing is that we read yesterday the passage in the Bible that talks about music or singing songs, singing psalms and hymns, canticles, right? To do this because the times are evil. And we talk on this show all the time about how these times are evil, but it's not just never give up or know thy enemy or fight hard. It's not just that. It's keep on smiling. And so we've tried to say, look, that's why we have funny stories at the beginning of the show. That's why we normally do it. We don't normally start out with conversations about cancer, by the way. Okay. That's not how it normally works. Not how it normally works. And so, we want to have fun. And so I was making some music and I thought, you know what? I'm going to share this. And I listened to it upstairs. I had Angela come up and we heard it on the computer and it sounded cool. And then I heard it through these headphones and I realized these are editing headphones. And the reason why these are editing headphones is because they really pull out the sounds for equalization and stuff. It's what these are heavy duty. They weigh a ton. They're like 70 pounds on my head. I got a really strong neck. Okay. But the thing is that when I heard it, I said, there's a little bit of tweaking that needs to be done. There's a certain sound that I want to drop down just a little bit to accentuate the organ. And I said, but you know what, man, I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it for you guys, especially now, especially after that, because we have a lot of amazing things to talk about, not just politics. We're going to talk about education today. That's one of the things we're going to talk about. We're also going to talk about the crazy cuckoo nonsense being taught to children right now, and why you really need to consider either sending your kids to private school or sending your kids bring them home. Do some homeschooling with them. And if you're going to send them to public school, you need to be really, really involved. Like way through the roof, okay? So we've got that. We've got a bunch of stories to do that are fun, right? Even stuff with pizza toppings, okay? And what the favorite pizza toppings are. So, as we get ready to push this button so you can hear this song, which, by the way, is dedicated to you, had you in mind when I made it. I had you in mind. Oh, have you in mind all the time. Make sure to raise that glass high. Look up at the sun. Thank God for the day. And let's determine that we're going to give it our absolute best today with everything we've got. Because we simply don't know when that final breath is going to come. So with no further ado, here we go. It's Wolfie's song. All right, everybody, come on. Drink that coffee hard. Straight to the dome. Because we're about to get supercharged right now. No matter how hard it gets, guys, come on now. Woo. Doesn't matter if it's your job. Doesn't matter if you're at home with the kids, whatever it is you're doing. Everything you got. Listen to the wolf. Listen to the wolf. Dude. I don't even know why I put the wolf in there. I was thinking of you guys. And I'm like, we're a wolf pack. I think tomorrow might be Wolf Pack Wednesday. I think that's what it's going to be. But right now, we got to move on. We got to get cranking. Oh, man. Okay. Before we move on, my mom sent this too. This is a nice thing, by the way. My sister took this picture, and it's really grainy in this. Like, this isn't a good picture of the picture. You know what I'm saying? But that's actually me. I'm walking around. It might be actually the same day as the picture in the thumbnail for this particular episode. I'm wearing that same hat. I love those hats. They get dirty quick, though. Thankfully, they're cheap. But I was in Palm Springs. Downtown Palm Springs, super artsy and fun. It was a really good time. My sister was kind of a ways away, and she took a picture from afar. And there it is right there. Yeah. I was wearing, you can't see it, but I was wearing my the Star of David necklace. It says the word Shalom on it. It was passed down. It's an heirloom in our family. My grandfather gave it to my dad, and my dad gave it to me. You can see it also in a picture of my daughter. It was actually one of the last. It was kind of leading into the last week of where she was, aware and alert and everything else. It was a really hard night, and I took it off my chest, and I gave it to her, and I said, when you get nervous tonight, I said, you need to squeeze that necklace really hard. This is a great picture of my sister. Again, I wish I had it where it was like not grainy, and I wish that I knew exactly what this was over here on the side, what words those were. Those are really good. Yeah, not sure. It looks like some really cool poem or something like that. I don't know what it is. And then that's my brother. Yeah, my mom has this put together at the house. So yeah, she sent that to me. Sorry about that. All right. I was gonna read that. I'm not going to. Not today. I'm gonna save that for another day. But this is what inspired ultimately the name of the book that I am writing right now about my daughter's life and death with cancer. All right, here we go. On to serious business, guys. We've been slacking a little bit. Okay, we've been slacking, just an eensy-weensy little bit. We've been slacking on keeping people aware with all of the newest information coming out all over the globe about the great animal uprising, okay? The great animal uprising of 2020. And so I thought, we've been slacking, so we need to get back on the ball, guys. And I went online, and it's not hard. I mean, it's happening everywhere. At this point, it is literally all over the place. And right here, we've got bear cubs peek into California home through the back door. We're going to play this video here for you for a second. This is ABC 7 Eyewitness. Don't you love that when they say eyewitness news? And they don't really realize that eyewitness is kind of like, you know, not very reliable anymore. There's a lot of science on that, by the way. And if you don't believe me on this, you're like, well, I saw it with my own eyes. I strongly encourage you to watch a video. Maybe we'll do it sometime on the show. And we'll watch a video that's a test where there's a bunch of people passing a basketball and you've got to count how many times. And there's a secret. There's a secret to the test, and I kind of failed it. I think I failed it. Oh, boy. So, okay, right here. Oh, bear party. Look at this. Okay, it's hidden down behind the thing here. Look at this. Bear party. What am I saying? We've been talking about the crab, about the emu that went up to the car asking for directions. New World Order stuff, big time, guys. This is Tiffany and Dukes. Instagram. Let's see this video. Okay. Oh, are you serious?
Torreo's homemade, delicious as slow simmered Italian tomatoes.
Give me
It's
a
also
break.
a
We're gonna just turn that down because I don't want to get in trouble for having a commercial on this. It's ridiculous. And here's the thing. These people, there's no way that they're actually, like, into this food. I mean, look at them. Do they really look like they're really eating
Sudden
rails?
scare for a Sierra Madre resident who lives near the Bobcat Fire burn zone. A lot of wild animals whose habitat has been impacted.
Wait a second. Isn't this the same guy that did another one recently that we were talking about? Isn't this the same dude? It looks like the same guy. And maybe these guys are on the ball with this. You know, I mean, so if we see recurring characters, don't be surprised. This guy's back. He's like, oh, man. He wishes he could say what we say. He wishes that he could just be honest. Maybe he's sneaking this in. And the overlords over at the news station, they're like, you're picking a lot of these animal segments. What's going on with that? And deep down inside, he's like, I've been watching Paleocrat Diaries. I know what's going on, man. He knows.
By that Bobcat Fire, now looking for food and water in local neighborhoods. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter live now in Sierra.
He said food and water? They're looking for food and water, guys. This is not good. And this lady, again, look at this weirdo. She's outside. There's no way that she's within 6 feet of anybody, and she's wearing a mask. Oh, because of all the people around? Man, what's wrong with you, lady? You look way better when we can see your teeth. Well, I'm guessing you probably don't have Hunter Biden teeth.
Sierra Madre with new video of the bear.
Give it to us.
And new reaction tonight.
Leanne.
Mark, bears are nothing new here in Sierra Madre, but after the Bobcat Fire, more and more are paying a visit, and today that included a cub who came to play.
More and more? Yeah, we have them around here, but for some weird reason, there's a whole bunch of them showing up. We don't know why. They need to be honest, guys. They need to, get paleo pilled. That's what they need to do. They need to get paleo pilled. And they need to realize we're under attack. This is like we're beyond phase 1. We're way beyond phase 1. I don't know what phase we're in yet. We're working those details out right now.
Can I help you?
A fun and furry Friday visitor for Tiffany Dukes as a baby bear makes a surprise appearance.
This was the first time I have seen them in the yard and that close to my door / on my door.
The cub and its siblings stopped by Friday afternoon. Dukes has seen the bears before in her Sierra Madre backyard, but they've always been on the other side of the wall, never at the door.
So they figured out how to get her over the wall. Probably a ladder. At this point, they're like, grab the ladder from one of the last. When they went on top of the police precinct, where was that? Or on top of the building, remember? They probably got a ladder. Probably one of their boys. Or no. That's why remember the garbage truck. The bear on the garbage truck. We talked about that. last week. They're looking for items, man. They are looking for items. We need to do better, guys. We need to have people stationed 24/7 at the junkyards. Oh.
I was sitting on the couch when it happened, working, and I look up and I saw the teenage bear walking past the door. It comes over to the other door, which was cracked open. So I just ran over and my adrenaline's pumping. I shut it, lock it really quick, scared that one away.
As she ran to check the other door, she got a second surprise.
And that's when the baby jumped up on the window and really obviously wanted to come inside. And so it was just really...
Yeah, I just wanted to come inside real quick. Hey, we're here. Hey, you got some stuff we're looking for. Wait till they figure out how to throw rocks. And throw some bricks. It's not looking good, guys. Be on the watch out. I'm serious. Be on the lookout for this stuff. And if you guys have any video of crazy animal activity that plays into the narrative that's obviously true, you got to send it. Paleocrat Diaries at gmail.com. Israeli girl makes a splash with her pet snake. Oh, what kind of snake's this? This is Reuters. Holy moly. It's a python. It's a python. Oh my gosh. 8-year-old Limbaugh likes to cool off in her small backyard pool in Israel with her favorite swimming buddy, her pet python. Dude, what is wrong with these parents? Would you be down with that? Like, I get it if it's like a little snake. Remember the snake that busted its way, wanted a pack of candy cigarettes in the convenience store? Remember that? Was it a two-headed snake or was that at a lady's house? I forget. We've talked about so many snakes and stuff. But the thing is, if you had a snake that was like smaller, would you be like, oh yeah, you can play that snake in the tub or in the pool or whatever? Oh, Daddy, I want to have my snake in the pool. Okay, I guess. Limbaugh said Bell is good company during a coronavirus lockdown that's kept schools closed over the past few weeks. See, people don't even think about this when they have the lockdown. They don't even think what's going to happen next. Kids getting in pools with freaking pythons. Quote, it helps me pass the time because I really like to hang out with snakes. I really like to hang out with some snakes. Can you imagine like the way she's saying that too? I really like to hang out with them snakes. She has to have like a cute lisp or something. And sometimes I help snakes shed their skin. What? Oh, man, this is not good. We need some intervention, guys. I'm not normally a fan of interventionism. We got to get over there right now. Stat. And I help them to be happy during coronavirus. How do you know that? How do you know that coronavirus is making the snake sad? How do you know that coronavirus and this whole scheme isn't put together, in fact, in coordination or collaboration with the animal generals? How do you know? You don't. You're too busy swimming in a pool with a python. There are people that say, you're crazy. How can you do it? I'm one of those. I just said it. You don't love your kids. Oh, now look. They obviously love the kid. I'm not going to go there. Okay. Well, I don't want to say obviously. I don't know him. But I'm guessing. I mean, you know. Quote, it's a lovely life to live like this. When a kid grows up with animals, he becomes a person that loves other people. He becomes a person that cares about others and not about himself. I would say cares about others and about himself. You know, there is at least a smidgen of truth to the virtue of selfishness, right? I'm not the biggest Ayn Rand fan in the world. Obviously, there's a lot of problems with that lady. But the thing is yeah, there's a little bit Eatsies, self-interest is real. It's real. But yeah, I mean, look, I get it. I get that. Is that a video? That is a video. Oh no. Let's see if we can play this. Can we? Oh, I don't know if it's going to let me play it. I don't know. We're having issues today. Oh, hold on. It's seeming like it's wanting to possibly let us play it. Just maybe. Just maybe. I don't think so. I'm not even going to waste my time with that. All righty, moving on. We got to share. We'll have to share that video somewhere else, man. Maybe social media. Because the snake is massive, by the way. Gigantic. Did you see its head? Bobcat wanders aisle of Dollar General store in Kentucky. Look at that animal, dude. Look at its face. That is one mangy little bugger, dude. Look at its face. Is it happy or furious? Or maybe a mix of both? We understand what that's like right here on the show. It's a little bit of a mix. Hey. Okay, well, then let's see what's going on with this guy. Oh, you can't play this video. What's going on, guys? This is sabotage. This is sabotage. Kentucky Sheriff's Office said deputies responded to a Dollar General store to evict a wild bobcat found perusing the toiletries aisle. What? What is it looking for? What do you guys think, man? What is that? What is the bobcat looking for? You know, we've seen where they go in looking for packs of smokes. We've seen where animals go in looking for, you know, lottery tickets, bottles of wine. We've seen it. Some Boone's Farm. they're like, sir, where's the Boone's Farm? You're like, what? What are you doing in here? Yeah, they got that bugger out. I wish we could see that video. That actually looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Cow stuck on a trampoline.
You woke at 2 a.m. this morning to find a paddock full.
All right, look at this.
These cows who last night escaped their paddock for a midnight adventure, which quickly turned south when one found herself in a sticky situation. 700 kilos
Holy
and snug as a
cow.
bug on a neighbour's trampoline. Oh my gosh, there's a cow in this trampoline. Shelley Churchill woke.
Did you hear how she said that? Holy cow, there's a cow on this trampoline. And like the way she says, I can imagine her actually saying that in real life. Let's watch that one more time. We got to memify that. You know what I'm saying?
700 kilos and snug as a bug on a neighbour's trampoline.
It's just chilling.
Oh my gosh, there's a cow in this trampoline. Shelley Churchill woke at 2 a.m. this morning to find an unlikely intruder in her mother's front yard.
We met some farmers at the corner of the roads and they'd say, yep, we've got all the cows, no problem. I said to my husband, let's go and...
Okay, yeah, we are getting sabotaged for sure, guys. It's telling me constantly this stuff is unavailable. What the heck, man? What is going on? On this very professional show. Oh my gosh. Oh. And see, this is what happens when Ailey's not here, man. It just all goes to, you know, the whole slippery slide to HE double. It's true. She's the firewall, man. Ailey is the firewall. She's the one that makes sure that everything's going, you know, perfectly fine. The internet working perfectly fine. Videos working perfectly fine. And she's not here, man. So I'm left by myself. I'm left by myself. In the comment section, Craig says, I'm so sorry. This is painful news talking about my sister and the diagnosis, progression. I'm praying for your sister and your whole family. Holly says, your sis is beautiful. By the way, there's a lot of people. I'm so happy that people who know her and even who don't know her are saying the things that they're saying in the comment section. Cherie says, homeschooling is fun. It's true, you know, and the thing is, hey, it's a hard thing. It's a difficult task. And not everybody, you know, I think people are learning now with the lockdown and everything else. I think one of the unintended consequences from the elite, the schemesters at the top, is that more and more people have realized the kind of weird propaganda and social engineering that's being done through the public schools. And they've had it. And they're like, not only that, but that they find, you know, it's actually kind of nice to work with my kids. You know, to be, you know, working with them on projects. And at least it maybe younger grades, it's actually kind of not only fun, it's kind of easy. You know? I don't want to downplay I don't want to downplay specialization either, okay? Because I think that there are, you know, I've done tutoring, and I've known occasions where even our daughters, that we benefited greatly from having a tutor, somebody outside. The division of labor is a good thing. Okay, figure out how people make pencils sometime. It's not as easy as you think. There's a lot that goes into this, a lot of different people doing different things. There's a reason why we have the division of labor and why, we're not just all these islands of self-sufficiency. At the same time, people are realizing that, hey, you can do a lot more with your children's education than maybe you thought. And more than that, maybe you shouldn't be giving so much authority to some of these teachers. I mean, just for real, and we're going to talk about that today. Not even joking. Justin, I would like to hear your family's thoughts on general issues of traditional lifestyle strategies for health, medical liberty, etc., specifically on fasting. We're going to talk about this because I've promised that we're going to put together a plan where every day, you don't have to follow what I'm doing, but I'm going to be honest about here's what I'm doing today. I'm going to document it. I mean, these are my diaries, man. So Paleocratdiaries.com. That's where people are going to be able to find that. But I'll connect you with my sister. My sister knows a lot about this stuff. She, an intelligent girl. She's been doing this for a while. And astounding doctors. And this is all I'll say about it. It's actually upsetting because, she's been doing these alternative treatments and she goes over the border to do it. Most of the time, Trump has liberated some of these things and made it deregulated them. And so she's now been, since he's been in office, thank God, one of the many reasons to thank God for that, she's been able to do things stateside, many things. But she still goes across the border. And when she comes back, she has a doctor here in the States. And the doctors, she's had multiple. They drop her because she's non-compliant. Okay, she's non-compliant. And they don't like that. And so they're like, well, you're refusing to do what we say. And she's like, because I'm doing great by not doing that. And I want to keep not doing that. And so the thing is that they'll ask her, they'll say, well, what are you doing? And she, and she'll tell them, and they'll write non-compliant or not doing anything. And that's infuriating because, and this is something, a lot of people, many of you listening, maybe even myself in the future, we're all susceptible to this. We may get cancer. We may die of cancer. Okay. And if and when that terrible day comes and you say, man, I'm diagnosed with cancer, and you're trying to find treatments, there's an idea, which is in principle, in theory, it's really good to say, well, we're getting information in the United States from all over the place. So different children's hospitals, for example, will network together and the doctors will say what protocols they're doing. And you can see like, well, was there, did it melt the cancer? How did it affect the cancer? Whatever treatment it was. Did it extend life? Was the quality of life better? And they match them up and then they put them into this kind of formulation that says, okay, well, how do those things, if we could mix and match to see how these things work? That's a great way to find out protocol. Here's the problem. That only works if you're not rigging the game. And you rig the game by doing what doctors are doing right now with my sister by saying, well, what are you doing? And she tells them all of these things. There's a whole bunch of things that she's doing. And they write down nothing. Nothing. Because statistically, if you look in that book, statistically speaking, that's going to be sometimes cancer just goes away. No, it doesn't. You say, well, what's up with patient X here? Oh, let's just say patient X is my sister. On paper, in that great model with great, goals and potential, you look at that and you would say, well, this person, they were given a year to live. They've lived well beyond that. And the cancer got smaller and smaller and smaller at one point to where there was only a couple spots remaining and they were like the size of a pea. And remember, I said in the beginning that the one in her breast, the main one, that was the size of an avocado. Nothing. What? It's infuriating, man. It's infuriating because then you wouldn't know. So can you make the best medical choice for yourself if you don't know what that person was doing? Even if it said the person was burning sage. Just burning sage everywhere. Put it in there, man. I'm dead serious. Just put it in there. There's enough samples, man, all over the place. There's enough samples all over the place that you put them in there and you'd be able to weed out the nonsense. I'll connect you with my sister again. Yeah. Adam says, it was like Teen Wolf, like at the end there. What, dude? Talking about the song, dude. Yes. Pumped up. Dude, I might play that one more time later. Ailey gives an update about my son. They gave him his medication to jumpstart his growth hormones. And then they draw blood every 30 minutes, 6 times. Last draw is at 11:30. So that's what he's going through right now. Oh, man. Yeah. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Black bears climb and run better than humans. And they also eat dead. Eat the dead. So climbing, running, and pretending won't save us. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I just saw an episode of SpongeBob, man, with the, what was it, the sea bear episode? Dude, that is hilarious, man. Where Squidward's like refusing. He does all of the things that SpongeBob and Patrick say will bring in a sea bear. And they're showing, it's like National Enquirer, right? For Bikini Bottom. I mean, it even says something like very fake news or something like that. And they're like, oh, you know, they don't like it when you wear a sombrero awkwardly or something like that. You have to kind of make it a little bit silly. And so he does all of those things, every single thing. And the sea bear comes and is just devouring him. And he's like, I'm going to go back home. And they're like, no. And apparently the sea bear didn't like it if you like limp away or ran away. And then he's hurt again. And so then he's trying to limp away. And they're like, no, he doesn't like it when you limp. And he's like, okay. And then he's like, oh, no, he doesn't like it when you drag your body on the ground. So there was just no getting around the sea bear. I think it's the same way up on, I think that, maybe bears evolved right from sea bears. And just never got over that. They're insatiable. Bethany says, I could send a video of our 3 crazy pitskis. They do nutso things daily. You better send it. You better send it. Yeah. Steyer wrote, stupid. I don't know what you're talking about with stupid. You got to do better than that. Yeah. I absolutely love her. When we were friends, yeah, talking about my sister. And again, just thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody who's commenting here. Camo, last comment I'll talk about. I had a friend who was into some weird stuff at one time. He would burn sage sticks and give me one. I cut it up and made a good lasagna. Oh, man. Oh, you should have saved some to burn. It smells good, man. You know? It smells good. Owl boards helicopter fighting California wildfire. Dude, look at this bugger here, guys. Look at this bugger here. Can you imagine? By the way, and this isn't the first time there was an owl that got into a cop car. Into a cop car, wasn't it? It caused an accident, man. The police officers like, whoa! All over the place. Cop cars, firefighters. Are you seeing a pattern? Dan Alpiner, a pilot with aircraft charter company Sky Aviation, said he was helping conduct water drops over the creek fire in Fresno and Madera counties when an owl flew in through the window and perched calmly inside his helicopter. It's odd to have an owl enter an aircraft. Not if you understand what is happening. Not if you're watching this show. If you were watching the show, you'd go, oh man, there they are again. You would know. You'd be prepared, bro. You would be prepared. What's crazy is it's unheard of to have it enter while the helo is in flight. Now that is probably true. It is an unexplainable and magical miracle for it to stay with you for several water drops, then leave just as it arrived, safe and unannounced. I would say it's a miracle, except they've been practicing this for a long time. They've been practicing and preparing. This is all part of a big, huge scheme. Okay, you know what? I think this might be my last one that I do that's funny, because we got a lot of serious news. Oh, we'll do 2 more, okay. Yeah, so Domino's employee brutally rates customers' orders in hilarious video. We're not going to watch the video, because I don't want to have another one where it's like, oh, yeah, you can't watch this, no. It would make me super duper sad. You know, but rating pizza 3 out of 10. Who wants pizza at 11:10 a.m.? I would. Who wouldn't want pizza at 11:10? What's the person? Normal pizza toppings 6 for ordering by phone. Yeah. So the pizza employee who posts on the account, Nona the Loner, shared a video of her time in the kitchen, which has attracted more than 120,000 views. The caption read, "Rating people's Domino's orders because I'm bored by myself in the morning." You know, I wonder, man, could she get in trouble for that? I mean, maybe her butt got fired. But at least, hey, man, now she's a TikToker. So she, you know, she's got a fan base now. Oh, man, we need to do something like that, guys. We need to do something like that. There we go. An amazing choice. Best value pizza for topping amount. Cookies are peng. I don't know what that is. This is looking like really delicious, and it's kind of making me hungry. You know, first of all, you guys, how do you feel, number one, about pizza in the morning? Number two, cold pizza in the morning or warm pizza in the morning? And number three, what are the best toppings for pizza, and what are the worst toppings for pizza? I'm hoping to see at least one person that says that they love anchovies. I'm serious. You guys can bust my chops all day long. It's a contribution, guys. Well, I mean, we're all contributing. If you say cheese pizza, I'm going to get upset. You know, that's just not contributing to the, you know, humanity's fight against the animal uprising. We need to take them out and eat them. We need to take these animals out and we need to eat them. Nom, 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 nom. All right. Last one before we move on to serious stuff. End of the line. For once iconic Tab. Do you guys even remember that? Do you remember Tab Cola? I do. Yeah, my grandfather, man, Skip, he used to drink that stuff. You know? Coca-Cola decides it's time to let it go. Look at that, dude. That's just such an iconic label. Look at that thing. Tab. I haven't seen it in a long time, though. Coca-Cola is canning Tab. Yeah, man, when people play on words like that, Coca-Cola is canning Tab. The company's, this is according to Toronto Sun. The company's first diet drink launched in 1963 because it has lost its fizzle. Dude, this person! Amid a shrinking market. The decision is part of Coca-Cola's strategy to kill off zombie brands such as Diet Coke, Feisty Cherry. Have you ever had Feisty Cherry? I never even heard of that. I mean, couldn't you keep it around in a couple places? You know what I'm saying? Like Jolt. I mean, you can find Jolt every once in a while. You can find that. It's like crack in a can. In an effort to focus on fewer brands with stronger sales. We were talking about that yesterday with the WNBA. And by the way, I need to say this. I got a little bit of flack on that. Not for the market analysis of it, but for not emphasizing. You know, I emphasized the idea of, like, you know, I was talking about why the players in the WNBA don't make as much, and I was sticking strictly with the comparative analysis instead of just saying, okay, now that we've shown that there's just simply no way the two can float together in the same world, right? This is ridiculous to talk about. That at the same time, if you look at the league itself and you say these players, dude, I have no problem admitting that they could totally school me. Most of them, I might put up a good game against the. They call me white chocolate. They call me white chocolate. It's true. They do call me white chocolate. I'm good on that court, man. Well, I was good. If I, you know, when I start to get heavier, I'm deceiving, right? Because I'm like the chubby guy who's doing fancy moves all over the place. And then at the end of the game, crawling away with a back brace and a cane and a knee brace. And I'm like, I'll be back, boys. I'll be back after some therapy. But the girls, in and of themselves, amongst themselves, maybe even against some of the guys in, you know, I don't know about the NBA, you know, so much as college maybe, or obviously high school. You know, you'd be able to play these teams. I don't want to say obviously, I don't want to be rude about that either to diminish it. But, you know, the soccer team, the U.S. women's soccer team, they got their butts handed to them by, you know, 15 and under. I mean, somebody shared a link, by the way, I think, on Facebook.com/Paleocrat. I think Nuno did. Oh, man. Now, speaking of Nuno, yeah, pun overload. Dude, it's good to see you back. Good to see you back. Yeah. Described as a sugarless fizzy drink, Tab attracted a loyal fan base dubbed Tabaholics because of its cult-like allegiance. I can imagine that. Tab is an acronym for totally artificial beverage. Really? Dude, I didn't know that. That's a little bit like Slurm. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys, we're moving on. Serious business. This is also a little bit sad. And I'm just going to say this. You can listen to this on your own. Rush Limbaugh gives an update on his battle with lung cancer. I should have probably tucked this in with the update about my sister. You know, but keep him in your prayers as well. Apparently it was pretty heartbreaking. He said, "I hate the way I feel every day. It's tough to realize that the days where I do not think I'm under a death sentence are over." Says it's terminal. God be with him. All right. Now, this might seem like it's being funny. This might seem a little bit like it's a joke. But it's not. Well, it is and it is not. And I figured, coming on the tail end, wink, wink, of talking about the animal uprising, we really do need to talk about this. This is Timon Klein over at newdiscourses.com. You need to go check that stuff out over at New Discourses. They're on the front lines, man, against critical theory. In fact, they're, in my opinion, the single best source online confronting critical theory, by far. To boldly go, Critical Animal Studies, the Final Frontier. Yep, we have seen this enemy before. We know what you're up to. We know what you're up to. An article from this summer in Psychology Today by Catherine Competus, demonstrates how far critical social theories can take us if fully imbibed. In the article, Competus attacks speciesism. Have you ever heard of that, by the way? Speciesism? Oh, man. Which is the, quote, the concept that one species, usually human, considers themselves superior to other species, end quote. Yeah, in other words, normal. In other words, yeah, this is like, human normativity. Yes. No offense, I might think differently. I might think differently about the cows, but I haven't read their literature. Maybe we should go check out their library. It's coming soon. Right? Give it time. It's happening. No species is superior, just different, says Competus. Instead, she prefers to relegate all species to the lowest common denominator. We're all living beings. Dude, by the way, yes, okay. Yeah, we're all living beings. Okay? What would this include? How many times do we do things to living beings? Right? We're driving around in cars. She may not like to think about this. Okay? Driving around in a car, do you know how many living beings you have just completely blown over? How many times has she washed her windshield? Does she cry? Throw a funeral service? Pick each little one up? Dig a hole and put it in? What are you doing? These are my window scrapings. Seriously, what's wrong with this lady? I'll tell you what's wrong with her. What's wrong with her is critical social theory. Competus is horrified that some anachronistically minded people haven't yet bought into this. The barbarians, if you can believe it, still use oppressive words like master and owner to, quote, describe their superior position in relation to their pets. Dude, you bought them. You bought them. They are your pet. This is the contention. So maybe I'm jumping the shark a little bit on this. Speciesism, that's just the dumb, that's a dumb word like lumber. I hate that word. No offense to any of the woodworkers in the comment section. But look, because we have Johnny Q listening to the show. Johnny Q and Sally Sue, they love the show. They know that I am a man of the people. But lumber is a dumb word. So is mustard. Obviously moist, right? Soggy. These are words that just upset me. Speciesism. Speciesism. It would be better if it was speciesism or something like that. But speciesism. Not entirely sure what that bing was. I apologize. Let's see here. Recent studies in the intersectionality of oppressed people. Oh, so this is intersectional. Oh, I got you. Okay, we've got the magical worldview grid, and we're going to be able to see and evaluate everything through the grid of intersectionality. Man. And animals have shown how similarly marginalized humans are treated to non-human animals. For example, there are similarities between the way women are oppressed by society and how animals are dismissed, bullied, and oppressed by our society. Now, she was just talking, by the way, it was just talking about, like dog fights, cockfights, stuff like that. I'd get it. I've seen some terrible videos of people, knocking animals around. I've seen it. But that's not what she's talking about. She's talking about you and Fido at the house. You and Lassie at the house. That whole here, kitty, 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 kitty thing. They're like, look, you know what? Why are you demanding they come to you? Have you talked to them about laying down rules for consent? No. No, I have not. Although the cat, doesn't always come when I call it. Although Lion does. Lion does. Lion comes to his name, actually, by the way. So, okay, oppressive language, that it's endemic to it. It's tantamount to anti-black racism. What? Apparently there's a book. Is it Benedict? How would you pronounce that? Boiseron? How would you pronounce it? Afro Dog, Blackness, and the Animal Question. Dude, these people. This is video game in the brain stuff, guys. This is cuckoo crazy pants. Unbelievable. Let's see. To combat the racist implications of our language and the dominance theory embedded therein, Competence advises speaking of including the dog, not using it. We don't own dogs. We are their guardians, not masters. You are kind of both, in a way. And look, when we use terms like, when you use terms like, owning the dog, that's a different sense. You're using it in a different sense, because people would say, yeah, I'm a guardian of the dog. Somebody comes in, tries to steal my dog, I'm going to club that bugger. I am. Someone comes up, tries to get Coco. I had somebody. I went into a store, window down. Okay, windows down. It's not super hot out. And she's in the back seat. Okay, so it's not like a scorching day. It was very comfortable outside. The wind was blowing outside. We go in the store. We're in the store for I don't know, not even 10 minutes. Come back out. And by the way, not just one window. All the windows are rolled down, but not far enough for anybody to reach their hand in, but far enough to keep that air circulating the whole time. And we have the dog with us. And I wish places would let dogs in. I understand why they don't. Maybe they could make an exception for mine. Mine is a great dog, very well trained, but they don't. And so, we say, look, we want to bring Coco on a ride. Coco's in the car. I come back out, and I've got this dude and his wife up in my face. And they're screaming at me. And they're saying, we demand right now to see the animal. You need to open up your car and let us evaluate the dog. And I looked over like this, and Coco's going with a big smile and not even panting hard. I know it. She's not even thirsty. And I'm looking at him, and I mean, they got really close, and they were really aggressive. And I said, they told me that they called the police. I told them, I said, you need to back away immediately. Back away right now. And I was like militant. I said, I was trained in this. And so I said, back off, back away right now. Said, you have to make distance right now. Step away. And they were like, what? And they stepped away. And I'm sitting there, I said, you said you called the police. I said, this is not a friendly situation. I don't want you near my car. I don't want you near my dog. I don't want you near me. And so the thing is, I said, well, I'm going to call the police. And so I call the police. Next thing you know, those people hop in the car and they book it. You want to know why? Because they never called the police. They never called them. It was fake. If I had to bet, because there were 3 of them all together, they wanted my dog. Money down. Yeah. And saying we don't discipline or correct or punish animals, that's bullying. But see, they would believe that same exact thing about humans then, because that's the comparison. So we don't discipline humans either, or we don't correct humans. That's bullying. To combat the tyranny of speciesism, we must, we are told, flatten the distinctions, eradicate them, really, between human and non-human animals. And just in case, because we're going to talk about education now, just in case you think that this is like, oh, this is an isolated problem. In 2012, the New York Times was already reporting on the advent of critical animal studies. I need to guzzle this. Hold on. On the advent of CAS at top universities including Dartmouth, New York University, Wesleyan, etc. Noting that animal studies emerged from, guess what? Cultural studies. That's a hellhole. That's a, thing hole. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Asterisk hole. You know. Now, cultural studies. The article continues, quote, some scholars now ask, why stop there? Why honor the uncertain boundary that separates one species from all others? Because they want to, you know what, with animals. This is what, if you don't know that's what this is. Look, why stop there? If we level it all and we say there's no distinction anymore, then you can totally hump dogs. You could marry them. And people remember, and look at the date, by the way. That was 2012. Let that sink in. Because people say, with all the debates going on about marriage equality and all the debates going on about accepting new sexual norms, and they're like, it's not going to change anything. There ain't no slippery slope. I proposed this idea of mountaintop morality theory that said mountaintops aren't just like these cartoony slopes. But I emphasized at the time the idea that, you can kind of go up and down like this. But sometimes, dude, there's a straight up slope. And even if on mountaintops, it's still not very safe sometimes. Don't go over on that side. Unbelievable. Horrifying. Survey shows 25% of Gen Z identifies as queer, and nearly 50% are atheists. Generation Tide Pod has been thoroughly indoctrinated. Now, I agree. Look, I can agree on the one on the over here. Don't play with our future. Like, that's one of the reasons why I don't like, a bunch of reckless spending. That's also why I'm saying that we need to be vigilant right now against the communist uprising in our country. And we need to be willing to fight and not just to complain. We need to equip ourselves. We need to have wisdom. We need to have understanding. And we need to sing some songs. Because our times are evil. Don't let entitlement ruin our environment. Look, I get that. But at the same time, I'm agrarian in that sense. I believe that we should have a lot of people living on land. I think that we should have an emphasis of land and of traditional societies more than the gross array of endless concrete jungles with all of the signs everywhere splattered and you can't even distinguish anymore place from place. And it's like an arms race for bigger and uglier things. I get that. But man, I can hear it. Don't let entitlement ruin our environment. Can't you hear that, by the way? I mean, like, when you see that, this is what democracy looks like. Black Lives Matter. Like, it's always these jingles, man. And that's what it is. We got to come up with better jingles, guys. It's the broke part of the brain. The Wizard of Ads talks about that. Various studies regarding views of Gen Z, which is the generation born between 1996 and 2010, have shown some incredibly troubling results that do not bode well for the future of America and Western civilization. Unfortunately, the fake news, the results of the survey indicate that the leftist propaganda has worked and the Gen Z has abandoned Christian values and patriotism to worship degeneracy, hedonism, and soulless consumption. It's what happens when you get rid of God. Which is why this next story is a joke. Mayor leaves council meeting before atheist controversial prayer. I get why atheists do that. Don't let them. Don't let them anymore. Because what they're doing, it's one thing if you say, well, we open up in prayer. Number one, they don't actually believe in prayer. That's the first thing. This joker here with the ugly face, he doesn't believe in prayer. He doesn't even believe in it at all. And he's saying, I have a right to come in here and to do what I don't even believe in. To make a mockery of the people who do. No, you don't, bro. Hit the road, Jack. Hit the road, home slice. Troll somewhere else. During a Lake Worth, Florida city council meeting, atheist Preston Smith, remember that guy, guys. It won't be hard. Look at his face. Gave an invocation and prayed to Mother Earth, Satan, Allah, Buddha, and Zeus. Mayor Pam Triolo stated before leaving, please rise for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Vice Mayor Scott Maxwell. Preston Smith, who's an atheist, stated, duly noted. Yeah, so he's already like, this is a big fat joke. Which, by the way, this guy, by the way, what's hilarious is this guy's going to come in and he's going to lecture the living daylights out of everybody as if he has some kind of superior system. Trust me, they don't. Not only can they not come up with a simple 10 commandments, but not 10 commandments that would be able to apply universally. Because to do so, they'd have to abandon their atheism. They're a joke. Good people, by the way. Let me stress this. I used to be an atheist. I've known a lot of atheists. I've known atheists who are rather intelligent. I also know a bunch of them that kind of feign intelligence, right? It's like this faux thing, this pseudo-intellectualism that goes into this. And so much of this, they'll sit there and they'll bash one after another. They'll bash things like, for example, the 10 Commandments. They'll bash that. And you say, what's your alternative? Well, not that. You're a deconstructionist. You're a deconstructionist. And what's amazing is that all they've got in response, well, we want to reconstruct the order. Oh, you do? Okay, what do you want to reconstruct it with? Dude, it's about as original as Karl Marx. Wow, man, that's really original. Did you learn that in your ethnic studies class? They don't even see how this is going anyway. So many atheist people, no matter if their hearts, in the right place as people, right? Is kind of this common grace sort of thing that says, the sun shines on the just and the unjust. The rain pours on the just and the unjust. That's just part of life. So you can have an individual who's an otherwise pleasant person, who's out there doing decent things, a good friend that's there for you in your time of need, that kind of thing. But they might have just absolutely terrible ideas. And in this case, yes, you have a situation where they're like, they're caught between these pressures. On the one hand of saying that they believe in science and reason, and on the other hand, embracing Black Lives Matter and critical studies in such a way that now they're like, maybe science is a little bit imperialistic and racist. Maybe mathematics is racist. And they're caught in there. And if they say, no, it's not, then guess what? They're white-splaining. They're white-splaining. So they're caught in this terrible quagmire. There's no way out for them. And it's a cult. The atheist community, the atheist movement, is a cult that demands and requires for its lifeblood, it requires deconversions, which is why so many are activist oriented. They need people to deconvert. not just to help validate. I don't want to say that because that's the heart thing, right? I'm not going to say that they need that so that they feel validated in their own belief. What I am going to say is that they're not making babies to continue the paradigm. So it's all based, the entire thing is based off of deconversion, which the primary mechanism for this is the schools. Secondarily, the law, which is why you have the kind of crap that goes on in schools, and it's why you've got lawfare. It's why activism, the ordinary life, is really difficult to do when you are neck deep in the atheist community. It just is. It just is. I know this. He said, our collective atheism, which is to say loving empathy. No, it's not. No, it's not. You're lying. And number one, who are you to say that, dude? Are you like the messenger? Did somebody vote for you? Or are you assuming that for yourself? You know, you kind of look like a white male, and with a name like Preston Smith, there might be a lot of privilege up in that. You're just assuming that you speak on behalf of all of the women. Loving empathy, scientific evidence, and critical thinking. And see, these are all slogans, man. That's all it is, bumper sticker crap. Leads us to believe that we can create a better, more equal community without religious divisions. Yeah, see, here's the thing. This is utopian. And this is where, like, they believe that, you know, scientific evidence. Do you have scientific evidence of that, by the way, that you can do that? Show me your laboratories, these little trial runs. Show me in history where this has happened. Show me where this has happened on a large scale with superstructures and superorganisms. Show me where this has happened. You can't, because you're a joke. Oh, this guy's a joker. We pray together. Mother Earth, we gather today in your redeeming and glorious presence to invoke your eternal guidance in the universe, the original creator of all things. The universe is the original creator of all things, including itself. The universe created itself. Dude, again, this is where we get into cuckoo town, because they say critical thinking. And when they say that is no more respectable on an intellectual level as the Nation of Islam saying that God made himself. It's a joke. May the efforts of this council blend the righteousness of Allah with the all-knowing wisdom of Satan. Again, this is simply a joke. It's like a graffiti artist. They should have kicked his butt right out and said, dude, you want to play this game? Are you nuts? We at least believe in sincere people. Like, if you're somebody who is sincere in saying that we during that time of invocation, which is the whole concept, and they're saying we're trying to make a counter-apologetic point against the idea of invocation, do it on your blog. Do it on your blog, you piece of crap. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We're moving beyond this guy. Well, no, let me say this. Mayor Pam Trillo recalled, I walked out not because I didn't want to hear an atheist message. I walked out because I didn't want to hear Mr. Smith's message. That can make sense. In fact, I could imagine a secular invocation. In fact, I could imagine, rest in peace, I could imagine Ed Brayton doing that. I miss that guy, by the way. He's one of those guys I'm talking about. Good guy. They're when you need a friend, man. I miss him. Atheist Smith claimed that his message was intended to promote secular-based principles of morality. Yeah, in a weird kind of way. In a like, I'm going to rip on everything by making a big fat joke out of this to promote my idea, and I'm going to use an otherwise sacred portion of a meeting. Dude, seriously, man. You know, we have a tradition here of telling people like you to go and to rent a motel room, a really cheap one. Well, no. Let's make it an expensive one. A hotel room. Dim the lights. Put on some of that fancy music, you know, the kind that really gets you in the mood. Light some incense, or like we talked about in the comment section, light some sage. And then screw yourself till morning. Because You suck, dude. I'm sorry to say that, but dude, you totally suck. Yeah, I'd say that to his face, too. Evil Among Us. Leftist Antifa performs satanic ritual in street and eat a heart symbolic of President Trump. This is where we are, guys. See, when I see stuff like this, you know for a fact it's a cult, by the way. I mean, you can see it. It's kind of like veganism where they're actually branding themselves. I don't know if you've seen that video. Branding themselves. Yeah. Like, oh, don't eat any animals, and to show you how serious I am, take this metal thing and on my skin. And they're screaming and, melted skin and fat. But these people, you know what they look like? They look like the people who do the, what do they call them? Flagellation? Is that what you call it? The discipline. But people, like over in the Philippines and stuff. Does Indonesia do that? Where they use like glass and razors and stuff, and they lash themselves walking through the street, and they use a certain kind of is it like a leaf? But it's really hard. I forget what it is, or a bamboo. I don't know, but they use it and they go back and forth, and their backs are just bleeding all down their body. That's what these people are. It's a satanic cult. The Antifa demons then danced around a U.S. flag chanting praise to the chaos god. Yeah, did you see they internationally, bunch of raging communist anarcho-communists went in and burnt down where was it? Peru? Tragic, man. Tragic. Burnt it down. Then went inside of the church dancing around, hooting and hollering. If you don't think that this is a war against God and a war against you, you're not paying attention. Yeah, unbelievable. Antifa burned the U.S. flag and eat a heart symbolic of president during an anti-democratic violence protest in Boston. Unbelievable. And it results in this kind of stuff. Kids know their gender at 3. And this, I think, is in reference to what Joe Biden said when he said, that if an 8-year-old wants to become a different gender and stuff like that, it's okay to, slice and dice the wee-wee and stuff. 8-year-olds should be able to express the gender they feel. Yeah, kids know their gender at 3. That's where we are. We're here too. White children and those from wealthy families are more likely to be identified as gifted, despite decades of effort to make these programs more equal. Now, that's actually kind of a true admission, but here's where it goes astray. Things like that result in this: when you're basing it off critical theory, when you're basing it off of critical social theory, then you get this kind of crap. Okay, you read something and you go, oh my gosh, look, there seems to be like in inequality, like the results from tests don't play out the exact same. And it doesn't look good for a group that we consider our starting position is this is a marginalized group. Okay. Okes, I got you. And they say, well, what do we do about it? Well, this is decided. Public schools are doing away with grading to combat racism. It's by Libby Emmons. Brooklyn, New York. You can find this at thepostmillennial.com. Great website, by the way. Kids will not be held accountable to deadlines, standards of behavior, honesty, or any reasonable expectations of achievement, all because to do so is now considered racist. San Diego School District has done away with grading because apparently it's racist. California's second largest school district has decided that since minority students cannot make the grade, grades should be dispensed with altogether. This is part of, and this is a quote, listen to this. This is San Diego Schools VP, Richard Barrera. Bet you money this cat has taken some ethnic studies classes, some critical theory crap. And let's switch real quick over to the gold standard. Hold on. Because I changed it up a little bit. Let's see. Transition. This is part of our honest reckoning as a school district. If we're actually going to be an anti-racist school district, and there it is, guys, what I say, it's a Trojan horse. We've been talking about that from the beginning of the show. Saying, look, man, when people say anti-racist, they have a specific thing in mind. We have to confront practices like this that have gone on for years and years. Those practices apparently include expectations and assessments as to how well students are meeting those expectations. Unbelievable. Only 7% of failing marks were distributed to white students. Again, listen to the way that people are thinking about this. It's like when they say it's disproportionate. Bad grades disproportionately affect minority students. And you go, okay, like, you believe that you have to balance that out? Like, okay, well, no, in school, you do have to balance it out. But how do you do that? And you don't want to say balance it out. You want all boats to go up, dude. You don't want to say, well, we want to just, not help more that 7% of white students to rise up as well. Or is it like, well, we just want the bulk of the failing grades in minority students to get to that 7% mark? Dude, it's an all, it's all boats rising up sort of thing here. Okay? That's the position traditionally. That's the ethical position, by the way. And that's the one that doesn't leave you in a complete quagmire of nonsense. Apparently, the San Diego School District believes that this is because teachers are racist. Otherwise, why would they seek to address grading rather than the underlying issues? Kids are now permitted to turn in work at any time that appeals to them and still have it graded. Oh, not graded. As though they turned it in on deadline. That's really great. That's a really good discipline to teach young kids. Just whenever you feel like it. Yeah. Can you see the ramifications of this, by the way, in society at large? Can you? It should be like glaringly obvious. These teachers suck, man. Teachers will not be permitted to use testing to determine grades, but are meant to grade per a mastery of the material. How would you, although it's unclear as to how a teacher is meant to figure out a student's mastery, how would you do that? It's a sleight of hand, dude. All you're doing is you're saying, because if you come to the conclusion that a student has the mastery of the material, then even if there's not a grade on it, number one, that is the grade. Because what about, it's going to turn into, there's a lot of people who don't have a mastery of the material. That's your new failing grade. And even if you don't do a grade on it on a assignment by assignment basis, inside your brain, so you may give back the piece of paper, but in your brain, as you're reading through it and you're seeing stuff that's right and you're seeing stuff that's wrong, you are calculating that. You can say, dude, that brother failed. That cat got a very bad grade. It's not hard. In fact, it is inevitable. Classroom behavior doesn't count either. So probably no more points for participation. Why even show up? It probably disproportionately affects, people of color. It's only a student's working knowledge, apparently. Although, again, it is unclear as to how that presence of that knowledge will be determined. Oh, we're following the wisdom of the junior at University City High School and Student School Board member Zachary Patterson said, I know students all across the school district are really happy with the idea that these other accountability measures are no longer going to be defining their understanding of knowledge. Their understanding of knowledge. Why is anybody listening to this kid? He's LARPing, by the way. And how do you know students all across the school district are really happy? Do you have some kind of a study? Did you do some kind of poll? Or is it like, people that I know are really happy about it? So what, dude? Who cares? In the comment section, TRN/Jeremiah, what's your opinion? Is America, and by extension the Western world, in the middle of a full-fledged revolution? Yes, we are. We for years we've been engaged in something called a cold civil war. And it's a civilizational clash. You know, when you look at civilizational models and you say, okay, you know, you have a civilization that starts out small, it's on the rise, there's cohesion there. You know, kind of like, what is it, John Jay, Federalist 10 or whatever, kind of sums this up, talking about a unity of religion, traditions, language, law, things like that form a body politic and a culture for those people. And based on and money, by the way, and soundness of money. So you have this kind of trajectory for these civilizations. The tendency, of course, is that these are, once you get to a certain point, that the idea is not just that it's good for us, but it's good for others. And you will inevitably get involved and have to come up with policies regarding how to deal with the outside world. Traditionally, it becomes imperial. Worldviews, in fact, are imperial, right? Worldviews are inevitably, you're going to want to flesh this thing out with universal scope. And so as the civilization goes, it tends to, you know, get mixed up with a lot of things, bringing in people from other countries. You no longer have that united, the ethnos. You don't have that anymore. You don't have a united religion anymore. Diversity and toleration becomes something that's a more central feature. Typically, the expansion, because it's imperial, involves war, interventions. And what that ends up doing, it depletes the money supply. And when that happens, the tendency is to mix it up with the dross, right, in the gold. And so, or the water into the wine and then selling it as if it's pure. And so the money becomes this messed up junk. And when this happens, you're seeing this decay, right? And you're seeing infighting that happens. And as the infighting happens and the things that cohere a civilization begin to dissipate and fall apart, that civilizational model, that civilization begins its peak. And as it does it and it's coming down, there's fighting going on internally, and there's multiple upshoots, but primarily one that's going to reach that intersection point. And that intersection point is volatile. Okay, that is a serious clash of civilizational models. And the emerging one, and you know, people could go on and say, well, the establishment kind of rides that most of the time. You know, but these models, and sometimes it's, you know, the idea is to keep the models like this and to keep it going. But sometimes it gets extreme. And right now, we've been living in a world for years where people could predict this, and they did, that the models that we have on paradigm levels, presuppositional assumptions, the most basic tenets of who we are, what our purpose is, what our values are, who our heroes are, what our language is, our traditions, our customs and courtesies, all of these things that have been going like this, further and further and further, to such a degree now that the idea of coexistence between the old regime and the new regime is practically impossible. That's a terrible thing to say, which is why I've said we're at a place now, in my opinion, that we are at a place now where there's one of two ways that this is going to go. It's either going to go the way of repentance, which is the way of the past, okay, to say a great awakening, which has happened before, okay, we've had that before, where significant numbers of people have taken a knee for Jesus, or the revolution happens, boom, and that's bloodshed. It's one of two ways. And we are at that place right now. So yes, TRN/. I hope that was concise enough. Nuno, don't you think that a lot of this radical left is only socialist or communist as an aesthetic choice, but devoid of actual policy? No. Well, I don't know. They say nothing about the struggle of the working class. Yes, okay, I got you on that. Which is why I think that there's a good case to be made that so much of this is actually postmodern. You know, and that it's what is it? Is it not dehumanism? Is that the name of it? Or anti-humanism? posthumanism. And so there's other terms that may be better for that, because yes, I think that they don't care about the working class. That's why Google and Amazon, Facebook and Twitter, that's why they're loved by these guys. They are loved by them. And yeah, you don't hear much about unions, man, from these people. You don't hear anything about guilds or worker associations, man. And that's also, I think, why a lot of the people involved with unions are actually really concerned by all this stuff. Yes, yep, just like you said, and are sponsored by corporations and even banks. Yes, dude, yes, methinks 'tis but a color revolution. Dude, you are on it, buddy. You are on it. We talked about that, I think, last week or the week before. And you said, which doesn't mean it's not, which doesn't mean it's dangerous, to be clear. I don't know if it isn't dangerous. Yeah, it's totally dangerous. In fact, a color revolution in some ways may be more dangerous. It's more palatable because it's run by people who know this game. Adam says, we do have the Constitution, which is our connector for all. But I agree with you, but that's like our position. The thing is that you have a huge swath of society that says they don't like that document. And in fact, that document is in itself inherently racist, inherently unjust, and that it was that not only was inspired or written down by people who may have been racist, but it was inspired by racism, and it was to solidify racism and to perpetuate racism, and it's got to be eradicated. It's got to be kicked out just like the rebel flag. It's got to be kicked out just like, Robert E. Lee and the Dukes of Hazzard. In the comments, I think the decay, at least the economic decay, is mostly down to usury. We'll talk about usury. We'll talk about that. Not today. I agree with you, though, man. I agree with you. And thank you. You said it's a brilliant breakdown. You should write it down as an article. Thank you. Yeah, I should, shouldn't I? You should go to paleocratdiaries.com. I have a pretty good article about critical race theory with a lot of articles and links. But this is one that I need to do. In fact, I've got a buddy who wants me to write a book with him, and it's on similar issues to this, and that would, I believe, inevitably arise. And so it would be published in a book. People could buy it. Let's see. Holy Faith says we need to make that into a clip. Yes, man. We do. People in the comments say yes, absolutely. K-Stu Skis. Recall the bloody 1917 Bolshevik Revolution. We have it before us now. There are similarities between them. Huge similarities between them. Bystanders mock and live stream brutal beating of police officer who was injured so badly he needed to be airlifted to the hospital. Unbelievable. Apparently he was begging the bystanders for help. They mocked him and said, "Well, you're the police. Why am I help you folk?" And they were laughing. It's where we are. We talked yesterday about how this is happening to people all over the place. It's happening to people all over, and it doesn't matter what you are. You could be a cop. They could say, well, cops are kind of at the center of all this stuff. And you say, yeah, what about the grandpa, the 73-year-old veteran that got his tail kicked, or the black guy that I showed who got his teeth knocked in for supporting somebody and trying to separate that person from the Antifa crowd? Got just jacked. Now, thankfully, the guy who punched him is being charged. They've already arrested the guy. We showed multiple women who were just beat up, bullied, shoved to the ground, hair pulled, punched in the face, swollen, bloody lips. If you think that this is not coming for you, you're crazy. And the truth is, there's a video made. I didn't share it. There's a video made. There's a TikTok chick. She gets on, this white chick, and she's like, look, this isn't my normally my normal Black Lives Matter jam for my BLM crowd. This is for all the racists out there. And by racist, she means anybody who doesn't support Black Lives Matter as an organization. Okay? So if somebody says, I don't support Black Lives Matter, BLM, but I support, all lives matter, you're a racist. You get lumped into this, by the way. And she does this really cryptic warning saying, you better watch it. She's like, because you shouldn't be afraid of the minorities. You need to be afraid of their allies because we look just like you. And we're coming for you. And it was, dude, threatening violence, promising violence. And here's the thing. Sometimes I wish this show was longer. Because we didn't even get to like election news and stuff, man. Okay, look, I will talk about this tomorrow. Why are schools teaching our kids social justice? Because this is really, look, this is a multifaceted war. With civilizational models are multifaceted. So, I mean, you're talking politics, you're talking economics, you're talking culture, you're talking religion, language. You're talking all of these different factors, way more than that, down to traditions and customs and courtesies, all of these different things that are involved in what is a civilization, what is a culture, what is that, and what are tactics that radicals and revolutionaries, what are tactics that they've used in order to gain power and to manipulate the future. And you want to know what? In fact, in my opinion, other than the mass media, schools, more than anything else, mass media, schools, because those are both mediums for the masses. You're saying, look, you tinker with that, you manipulate these things, you get them not only in the subtle ways and sometimes glaringly obvious ways through the tube and through internet and everything else. There's a great video. By the way, Project Veritas revealed something talking about the tinkering of the algorithm and how they do it to promote Biden and why. Not surprising to anyone who watches the show, but denied by everybody on the left. Crazy. But also with schools. And to say what's happening right now in the schools. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We got to say something about this. This is actually really sad. Chrissy Brown, and it kind of plays in. You know, obviously, playing video game in the brain type stuff. You got the flag there. It's indicative. But apparently, Tubin, right? What is he? Is he the legal analyst over at CNN? Apparently was caught, touching the thing during a work meeting. The person says it would be sexual harassment if he had done it at the office. Instead, he did it in a Zoom meeting. Guess what? It's still sexual harassment. I agree with that. Enough excusing creepy white men. But do you see? What does that have to do with anything? Do you see how they have to put that in? You have to put that in. It's kind of like saying, and I want to thank God, the super whacked out guy or the super whacked out girl at a music awards show. In the past, I don't know if they do that much anymore. Nobody's really watching. And most of them probably don't even care anymore. But it used to be, you get up on stage, you may be a person, never references God, doesn't ever talk about God, doesn't go to church, doesn't read the Bible, doesn't do any of that stuff. But when you get up there, and I want to thank God, man. I want to thank God. Or like the players who used to, get a touchdown and do a real quick sign of the cross and point up to the sky. And you're like, dude, you really loving the Lord? No, man, it's kind of my thing. I practice it at home in the mirror. Okay. Well, that's what it is now with just, dropping the idea of white people. We'll talk tomorrow, One Nation Under Woke. So I'll give you a little preview of tomorrow. I really do think we're going to call tomorrow Wolfpack Wednesday. Yeah. Let's see. Man, I have so many of these stories. And we got into these really, really big things, man. These really, really, really big things. I'll talk tomorrow for sure about this. Former Labor Secretary calls for Truth and Reconciliation Commission to punish Trump supporters. You want to talk about it's kind of weird. Robert Reich, kind of talking like a Nazi. Kind of weird, bro. I kind of wouldn't have figured that. Oh, but then I realized you're a progressive loon tune. You are a weirdo. You have drank the cultic Kool-Aid. And that's what happened. That's what happens. We'll talk about the effect that it has on kids. Man, there's so many stories, man. Oh, you just got it. I'll say this, man. before we go, because, you know, we got not much time. We only got about 15, 20 minutes, and so I'm just blowing through this. Melania Trump treated COVID-19 with vitamins and healthy food, says the White House. The First Lady's natural approach to overcoming the virus follows studies indicating the effectiveness of vitamin D. But that's a serious thing, by the way. They found the same thing with cancer, that most people who got cancer, a significant number of people who have cancer, they have major time vitamin D deficiencies when they come in. First Lady Melania Trump recovered from the coronavirus utilizing, this is, by the way, over at LifeSite News, Patrick Delaney, using vitamins and healthy food. Though she experienced only minimal symptoms, she explains that they came upon her all at once, including body aches, a cough, and headaches, along with feeling extremely tired most of the time. Emphasizing the necessity for maintaining sound overall health as an implicit means of combating the virus, she encouraged all to, quote, to live the healthiest life they can, including a balanced diet, fresh air, and vitamins. I do pretty good on all of that, except the fresh air. I do too much work, man. I'm constantly, I gotta figure out how to get out more of that. And I gotta take my dog on a walk more. That'll be part of the Paleocrat Diaries, you know, health and fitness jihad on fat program. And to be part of the jihad on fat, we're going to have to buy sabers, plastic sabers. We're going to need to do it. I hope I don't get in trouble for that. And yes, Zach, he wants to punish Trump supporters, talking about Robert Reich. Oh, no, he's talking about after the fact. And he's trying to interfere, of course. I mean, you look, he's making the pitch that if Biden wins, that he's proposing that we have a commission, basically, that shows all the things that were lies. In other words, we're talking major time newspeak here. We're talking major time, these changing the thoughts and being like, our official commission has said that Donald Trump lied about this and lied about that and lied about this. And not just to say that, but enforce it. To eradicate, to rid people from media and other institutions that made it possible. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Unbelievable. 17-year-old girl becomes North Dakota's youngest COVID-19 death. That was October 8th. Okay. We need to, as I said, I don't dance on the graves of anybody, but this is one of the reasons why we really need to focus on being healthier. You don't want to get the old Rona and have to dance that and say, and people might say, look, yeah, she died, but look at Chris Christie. He's a fat freaking slob. He eats like 70 burgers a day and stuff like that with lots of bread. I mean, it's just, probably through an IV by the looks of things, right? And so, and he's okay, therefore I'm fine. And I say, it's not just about the Rona. It's not just about learning to dance with that. It's also about honoring God and realizing that your body is a temple. And just being overall healthier in general. I mean, you're gonna have better chances. You're gonna have better chances with anything. COVID madness. California compliance law requires holiday dinners outside. Dude, look at this guy. This guy's like, I was thinking last night while I was tripping on peyote, and I thought maybe this was a really good idea. Let me tell you what I came up with. California Director at Comrade. This is over at the Conservative Treehouse. California Director at Comrade, Gavin Newsom, has released the latest set of COVID compliance rules for family gatherings. This is not a spoof. These are the rules. Here's a couple. Gatherings that include more than 3 households are prohibited. The host should collect names of all attendees and contact information. All gatherings must be held outside. Attendees may go inside to go pee-pee poo-poo as long as the restrooms are frequently sanitized. By what? The monkey butler? What's wrong with you? Hey, make sure to sanitize it. I've got all of my equipment here. Seating must provide at least 6 feet of distance in all directions, front and back and side to side. Why not just mandate everybody, go inside those bubbles, man? There was a concert, dude. We joked about that. We joked about the idea that there was, these concerts. Or we joked about the idea of people being in bubbles and saying, well, why even care anymore? If you're really that concerned, just walk around in one of those bubbles. You know what I'm saying? Like Bubble Boy. Dude, there was a concert where they did that. All the members of the band are playing inside the bubbles and stuff. Oh. Any food or beverages at outdoor gatherings must be in single-serve disposable containers. People who are singing or chanting are strongly encouraged to do so quietly, at or below the volume of normal speaking voice. This, I heard somebody say, was it Tim Pool talking about the idea of like, are these people trying to see how far they can push it just to get a gauge for just how way off track Americans have gone? I think there's a good point to that. I think it's possible. I think it's also possible that these people just love power. And they love being able to have individuals wrapped around their finger. It's a power is a heck of a drug, man. It is a heck of a drug. You get a taste of power. I was just talking to a buddy yesterday about that. We were talking about that and about what power does and why power is so dangerous. Especially when it's just all up to your creativity, all up to your whims and fancies. Where freedom and liberty conservatives make the fatal mistake is not using Alinsky rule number 4 against the dictates of the totalitarian regimes. Rule number 4, make the enemy live up to its own book of rules. I guarantee you California politicians, elected officials, and bureaucrats will not abide by their own rules. If you deploy Alinsky rule number 4, their credibility and reputation can be leveraged against them. Tieron Slash said, Jonathan Pajot, dude, I like you, man. You ought to reach out to me. You can do that. I have a little pop-up comment, kind of a DM box at paleocratdiaries.com where you can go ahead and you can, in fact, we'll go ahead and put this up here. Let's see. Transition. Yeah, hold on. There we go. So you can see there, paleocratdiaries.com. Okay. Reach out to me, or of course, paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. I like Peugeot. I like him a lot, man. He has a really great video actually on the way that women, the ascendance of women in movies and the replacement of men, the degrading of men in movies, how it's statistically beyond coincidence. You can say, okay, well, if there were this many movies, but when you see it kind of an arc all the way across, fantastic. And I love his stuff about symbols, man. He's an amazing artist. Technically, what is it? An iconographer, right? Iconographer. A couple more, and then we're going to do memes, guys. And if I say we'll leave it for tomorrow. The future of the theater. Okay, you know what? Let me see here. I got, let's see, Seal the Win. No, I don't want to do that. Transgender women in rugby. We'll do that maybe tomorrow. Yeah, no. Okay, we're just gonna do this. We are just gonna do the last topic to kind of stay a little bit off of our normal themes. You know, as much as I love talking politics, you guys are gonna get that all the time. You're gonna get that all the time, and most of the time you're gonna get it from here too. In fact, we kind of set the tone. You know, if you guys noticed that, by the way, if you go on and you see that, you follow other big name people, start to track when we talk about something and then track when they talk about something. I'm not saying that they all watch the show, although we kind of know they do. We kind of know they're all watching the show. They might be like, oh, I've never heard of them in my life. Yeah. So here's the thing, is that you'll see it and you'll know, if nothing else, number one, you're listening to a show that is on the ball. Number two, you can check out this show and you kind of know that if it's covered here, there's a good possibility that other groups are going to cover it as well. But we also cover stuff outside the mainstream of the alternative media, because there is kind of a mainstream of alternative media. Just like there's a mainstream of alternative Catholic media. You know, if you go and you listen to a lot of these Catholic shows, a lot of the topics kind of float around the exact same time. Very few are really that independent, where they really stand out talking about stuff that's not just what's being talked about by everybody. You got to balance it out, though. The future of the movie theater. It's a great piece over at the American Conservative. Captain, let's see here, Micah Maddox. Earlier this month, Regal Cinemas suspended operations in the United States and the UK. Independent movie theaters, on the other hand, are considering all the options. From continuing to offer a mix of in-person and virtual movies and film seminars online, to possibly adding a drive-in next year. I'd be down with that, by the way. I'd be down with that. I would love to go to drive-ins, man. I lament the fact that drive-ins kind of fell away. It was hard to find them anymore. Several adaptations made by the theater will carry on post-pandemic. In fact, you can now rent an AMC theater for a private showing for up to 20 people for just $99. Some theater owners believe that there will be pent-up demand for the theater experience once the pandemic ends. But will there be? I hope so. I do. I hope so. I hope, because the question that A.O. Scott asks. In the New York Times, A.O. Scott asks, quote, what if the pandemic, rather than representing a temporary disruption in audience habits and industry revenues, so what if instead of like, it's just a minor thing and it's a temporary thing, we're all just going to go back once pandemic and all the lockdown crap is over, if ever? What if it turns out to be an extinction level event for moviegoing? What if, now that we've grown accustomed to watching movies in our living rooms or on our laptops, we lose our appetite for the experience of trundling down carpeted hallways, trailing stray popcorn kernels, and cradling giant cups of Coke Zero to jostle for an aisle seat and hope that all that soda doesn't mean we'll have to run to the bathroom during the big action sequence? But see, here's the thing, is that you know, I know that A.O. Scott, I'd like to maybe check out that article, New York Times. We'll check out that article and talk about it in another time. But what do you guys think? Do you think that it's an extinction level event? Do you think so? All right, here. Okay, so we are going to do this. You know, I said that I wanted to do this here. We'll listen one more time, man. We're going to listen one more time to the wolf thing, because I said I would, man. So people who are tuning in right now, right? People who are tuning in and may not have been here for earlier on. We played a song. Right? Let's see here. Main banner. All right. So I played a song. I was talking to. I'll do a little bit of a tweak tomorrow, because I'll probably play it tomorrow too. Right? And I'll make other songs, man. We're gonna listen to this. And if you make songs, or you write poetry, or you do anything with music, right? Whether it's lyrical or whether it's instrumental, feel free to send it to us, man. We'd love it, even just to hear it. You know, because the times are evil, like it says in the Bible. The times are evil, so we need to lift each other up. So as we go into the meme section here, guys, as we go into the meme section, okay, we are gonna go ahead. We're gonna play this song. Here we go. You got to get pumped. It's the end of the show. Well, you're going to be sad. We're going to zoom for a minute, guys, because it's Tuesday, October 20th, and we love this show, don't we? It's been good, guys. Here we go. I love that wolf. I hope it put a smile on your face, man. A little fire in the heart. A big smile on your face. Happy warrior. All right. Oh, I had to do it. I was just having too much fun. All right, we're going to go ahead and... Oh, no, sorry about that. Let's see. Gotta do this here. CF says, I missed the drive-in. I do too. Bethany says, oh, nice to see you, by the way, Bethany. I do not enjoy movie theaters. Anywho, you know, look, I mean, everybody's got their thing. You know, I enjoy movie theaters and I enjoy theater. And I'm fearful that the lessons with this can also apply to theater, right? So I like live action theater. Okay. In fact, I'd love to be part of stuff like that. All right. So memes. We are not a satanic pedophile cult. Look at her face, man. It is a little bit, right? and did you imagine that she was green the entire time and she had like fangs and stuff? And it's like, she's taking this really personally, by the way. And what's up with this? Like, they're really insistent. They're like, look, you know, that we're really insistent that you guys don't see what's really going on because you know what? It would really implicate us. It's true. Bunch of spirit cooking weirdos, dude. Spirit cooking weirdos. Trump put kids in cages. That was me. Trump colluded with a foreign agent to influence the 2016 election. That was us. Trump had quid pro quo with Ukraine. That was me. Stop taking credit from the Dems, guys. Stop taking credit. Give credit where it's due. What's this one? Proof cats don't always land. Oh, dude. Come on, man. I can't look at that. It's infuriating. That's like ripping scabs off of old wounds, man. Old wounds, guys. Sicko weirdos. Sending that crap to me. Those countries are not crap holes. Illegal aliens can't go home because their country is a crap hole. Yeah. Dude, it's totally true. And this is the Alinsky rule number 4. It is. Memes are a perfect example of this to show the raging hypocrisy of a position and say, look, you can't say both things. You simply can't. You can't go, oh, yeah, man, he said that country is really dangerous and really terrible. And then you're like, hey, we have to let in all these refugees, even unvetted and stuff. It doesn't matter that we don't know where they came from or who they are or what they've done because their country is really bad. Yes, dude. There's another word for that. Another word. Yeah, 2016. I feel this way. You know, all excited. Then in 2017, you got Jared Kushner, and you're like, blah, blah, blah. And then 2018, you're seeing everything fall apart, and you're like, blah. And then 2019, everybody's wearing a mask, and you're like, under the mask. And then in 2020, you're like, it's on like Donkey Kong. It's totally on. We're going out, boys. We are going out. It was recently National Coming Out Day. I'm a trans cat girl. No. Trans cat girl? Oh. And we ams in lesbians with each other. And we both hate capitalism. Do you see how much ridiculousness is all thrown into one tweet? It's amazing how we can really push together, you know, like quadruple decker poop sandwiches and like and do that. Kind of amazing. Kind of amazing. Stinks like mad. That what? No, dude. What's the age, you know, that you kind of got to get a kid out of there? And look, he's just like staring right into that cell phone. He might be looking up paleocratdiaries.com to figure out if we've shared our weight loss jihad on fat plan. He's like, my mom's not doing it. I am. The mom's really concerned. I'm the gay, trans, sex positive, poly, atheist, anti-capitalist, anti-fascist, podcasting, social justice warrior your parents warned you about. Dude, I saw this guy. I was actually, I think, on a podcast with him. I don't know if it was the first time that he ever said he was trans and went by Danielle. I don't know. There's a lot going on with Danielle. A lot happening there. Okay, yeah, Joe 2020. Yeah, messing it up. Okay. Now we'll go past this. What the? Okay, this is not real. I was worried for a second, man. You know, Oreo goes down some crazy paths. It's pretty bad. I need this. Dude, do any of you guys have one of these? Do any of you guys have one of these? Oh. This is something we definitely need. I wonder if we can get one. Like, how much would it cost? I wonder for our store. And by the way, I'm putting the final touches on the description for the mugs, because we have to the cafe press that we're using. I've never used it before, and apparently I've been told by Ailey and the staff that they're like, look, you need to be the one to write down the description as to like what this is about and stuff like that. So I got to do work today on that, guys. That's one of the things that I'm doing, but it's exciting because you will be able to get mugs. I'll have the first one, raise that bugger high, and then every single day when you listen to the show, you can drink from any of the mugs. There's going to be a whole bunch of them, but I wonder what it would cost if we had a troll. I don't have the Trump hair, but my hair sometimes is kind of out of control. Let's go now, Joe. No, I can't. Joe, we've been over this. You can't suicide Hunter if I'm holding on to you. You knew the rules, Joe. Yeah. I got that from a very faithful listener. In fact, I've heard that she's just a total fanatic, a real freaking geek. Right? Worthy of getting some kind of, special award. If that's the person. I'm thinking it was the girl. Although it may have come, because I think it was another one that came from a dude. I have a guy who loves the show, libertarian guy, loves the show. In fact, I'd like to have him on sometime. And I also got a meme from a lady. We have a lot of ladies, dude. We take a lot of pride in our very intelligent, super powerful, spiritually dynamic, mega hot women, motherly, nurturing women who tune in to the program on the daily. Oh, dude, right there's the bubble guys. Look at those bubble people. Wow, dude. This stuff's real, guys. It's where they're going with it. I'll skip over some here. Alex Jones uses his full power to protect the last two straight frogs during Pride Month. Yeah, dude. Okay, the thing is, I have people, even to this day, they're like, yeah, but he talked about gay frogs. And it's like, yeah, he did. And do you know why? No, because he's crazy? No, dude, because of something that most progressive and liberal people would actually agree with. The idea of these chemicals in the river and stuff. I mean, it's like, why, again, just to make a partisan point, they end up betraying their own convictions. What is this? What is that? There's not even anything. Does it need a caption? Does it need a caption? Not sure if the doctor said I was obese or a beast. I'll tell you, probably obese. If you're an American, he probably said obese. And he probably followed that up, and you may not have heard it properly, or maybe wrote it down in a wrong way and stuff like that. But he probably wrote that you need to immediately, with great urgency, go to Paleocratdiaries.com and eagerly anticipate our weight loss Jihad on Pat program. Come on, man. Cut your 8-year-old. Oh, dude, what? Oh my gosh, dude. No, don't do that. But you know what? Isn't that kind of what he's saying? Isn't that kind of what he's saying? Like if he was talking to somebody and they were like, hey, my 8-year-old is thinking about doing slicey dice down there. You know what I mean? What should we do? And he's like, come on, man. Just cut it off. He's got that sleepy looking smile. No, but you're a Latinx. You're supposed to be progressive and support us. No. Let's go, comrade. Yes. Yeah. I'm on the last two. What? Why? And they're not even wearing shoes. This is a Colonel Sanders outfit. And you know what? It's, again, I've said this is like probably my least favorite style of clothes. Not the Colonel Sanders thing. I would probably wear that. But the thing is, not a sports outfit, like where it's like tight and everything. No, man, I would be wanting to wear the actual Colonel Sanders outfit with even the dually thing here. All of that. I would dress like that. Well, but I wouldn't dress with it and do the hair and do the facial stuff, because then you just look like Glenn Beck. And I don't want that. All right, we're running out of time, so the last one. Let's see here. What's it? Oh no. Oh no. That's a big oopsies. Last one for now. Oh yeah, running out of time. Wait, dude, this is not. Is that a person's arm? Hey man, check out my new watch. I'm sorry, I can't. Yeah, I gotta kind of pull away the folds there. Maybe it's a lot of water weight. You never know. You never know, guys. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, check out paleocratdiaries.com for all the shows. In fact, I put together a quick announcement real fast. When you go, you'll see the video, and I'm going to start taking it every day where I'm going to do today's and yesterday's today. I'm going to do it today. So, as well as the store stuff. But to post it on the blog, and because we've had people who've asked for links to the stories that I talk about. And so what we've done is we've made it so that the video is available every day, or the best we can, okay, to be available on paleocratdiaries.com, and underneath it is a table of contents. And it has on the left, there's 2 columns. And on the left, you have the timestamp. So if you click on that timestamp, it will take you directly to the segment where I was talking about that topic. So if you want to share, for example, you want to share the part today where I talked about civilizational models, because a lot of people in the comments said they liked it. So some people said we should write a book about it, or publish something about it. The thing is, if you really like that and you say, man, I wish I could just share that one part with people, we can make videos. We can also make it so that you can just simply copy, do right click or whatever on the timestamp, put copy URL, and then share that URL. When people click on that URL, it will take them directly to whatever topic is referenced, right? Whatever topic. And so that's the timestamp part. On the other column is the one, and it has a description, right? It'll say, like, for example, the clash of civilizational models, okay? And it will be highlighted. That link will take you to whatever article I may have been talking about. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I may be referencing an article that's informed me or whatever in the past, and it wasn't on the screen, but it's kind of in my brain. And so I would share that link, like I shared yesterday, the, what is it, Alta Vendita? The Freemasonic document talking about how to destroy Christendom, right? Chipping away at this thing and going through the women to do it, right? Using them to do it as a primary mechanism. So I put the link on there so people can read it for themselves. Okay, I think it was John Vianney? Or what was his last name? Anyway, Venari. The book that he published about it. And so you can go ahead and you can check that out. And again, you can take that, again, right click, take the link, share it anywhere you want. And that way it drives people to the site, and it also allows you to go through even the funny stories. Man, you say, dude, I thought that one was hilarious, about the banana on the wall, the art. You can just click on that, and it's also got not just the timestamp, but it's got the actual article. For interviews, if you'd like to be on the show, or if you'd like for me to come on your show, for speeches, I love doing those. If you want to invite me to your church or homeschool group or school, club, anything like that, I'd love to come and join you. Even to contribute to something. I have a contribution on the issue of solidarity that I've been invited to write on, and it's been a big honor. I'm going to get in touch with him. But if you'd like for me to do that, or any other inquiries, right? Even hate mail, send it to paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. Make sure to check out Paleo Cheese. I posted one yesterday of conversations about food and pheromones, and it's a lot of fun. It's a hilarious episode. It's a lot of fun. We talked about the death of malls and what it was like to be a mall rat and things like that. So it's a really, really hilarious and very informative and fun episode, and I'll be sharing another one either today or tomorrow. Thank you so much, everybody. So, until next time.
5, 4, 3, 2,
I do that all the
1.
time. I do that all the time. All right. Until next time, never give up. Keep on smiling. And memento mori. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot.
right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off. The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge and maybe a funeral procession.